Today I'm going to talk about my current read and mid-book opinion. And I kind of hinted that I was reading this book some time ago, and I put it down for a minute to try to catch up with releases that were coming up at the time. And now I'm back to it, and I want to talk to you about my mid-book opinion. I'll have a full review on this book coming up next week because I really don't think I can put it down now. Now, my current read is My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Now, I'm going to show you here in color. That's what it looks like. And I got an ARC a while ago, but as I said, I was trying to catch up with the releases that were coming up before this release. And I'll put the release date on the screen so you know. Now, if you've been in my channel for any period of time, you know that I really love Fredrik Backman's writing. I feel like he has this gift where he writes in a way, and of course his work is translated. I think he's in Sweden, a Swedish author, but the translation is so good that I feel like it really portrays the way of his writing. He writes these books that when I see the synopsis, I have zero interest in it. One of those are those synopses that really turn me off is the one of Beartown. I just don't care about hockey. I don't care about, but I don't know how he does it, or I don't know who does the synopsis for him, but the synopsis really mean nothing to me. But when I read the book, it's a completely different story. And in this particular book, I'm going to talk about kind of the story and where I am right now without really getting to the mid-book, which is exactly where I am right now. Now, My Friends is his newest release, and it is the story about this picture. It's a piece of art where you can see the ocean, the pier, and three little kids that are in the pier, but they're so tiny. And the picture is, the big picture is about the water, and it almost feels like those people there that I know are kids are just irrelevant. But our story takes place 20 years after that picture was taken and after that piece of art was created and now is famous. And so that's how we meet Louisa. Louisa is in foster care, and she has this one experience that I cannot tell you about because it really had me in tears. And this is the way that Fredrik Backman does it, because it's very funny the way that he introduced this picture into Louisa's life and turn it also into like a very sweet, wholesome moment. And then when she starts to remember really how she got that picture and how she got the idea, because she ended up getting a picture of that piece of art under a specific circumstance, and she attaches that to a memory with her mom. And now we know she's in foster care. She's about to turn 18 and leave. But everything that happened to her after she got into foster care, all those friendships with people that had a really horrible upbringing, horrible parents, under different circumstances, sometimes addiction, it really paints a picture of Louisa, how she is attaching herself to a memory, or how she's attaching a memory to that piece of art. And it kind of starts in a funny way where she's going to go see this painting at this church where they're going to have some kind of an art gallery afternoon, and how she ends up going in there with not the best intentions, how she's being kicked out, and who she meets right after. Now, after that, we're going to be introduced to those four kids who lived very far away, had very hard lives. Their families were dysfunctional in very different ways, But as he always does, Fredrik Backman, how he is able to tell a story that is really funny, at the same time it feels very real because it feels like the life of somebody out there, and how it touches your heart, each and every one of them. And they're completely different lifestyles, circumstances, and how they meet in this book. I feel like there's not a plot, a specific plot, because there's so many moving parts in this book that at this point in the middle of the book, I can say that I'm completely invested in their lives and not so much in the plot, which is very interesting to me because I am a plot-driven person. But I have to say that his writing is so amazing that it almost makes it feel like somebody I know or somebody I met, and how you're rooting for things to work out for each one of them in different ways. There are things that can be fixed and some things that cannot be fixed in the situations that these characters are put under. But I am enjoying this book this far, and I really cannot wait to finish it. I come home and all I want to do is just lay down and read my book, go back to this world that is not perfect, that is not fast-paced, that is not mysterious, but how amazing it is for an author to be able to create people, imaginary people that you care so much about and that you want to know how it's going to end for each one of them. And if you're old enough to understand that life not always has a happy ending, you're scared for what can happen to these people, because again, it gives you that sense of this seems real. Please come back next week. I'm gonna have a full review on this book, and hopefully after its release date, I may do some kind of a spoilery review. So if you read it, then we can discuss it. But that would be after its release, after a while that it's been released. This is one of those books that it's hard for me to move on from. And it's one of those books that I always think about. His books always come to mind, and especially when things are happening, it's really easy to remember some of the circumstances that he puts his characters under, or some of the characters themselves and how they think and how they act. And I really think that he's one of those authors that has the ability to leave an impact or make it so meaningful to you that it's hard for you to move on, or it's hard for you to forget. If you ask me about maybe another thriller book or a mystery book, unless I care enough about some of the characters, I may forget soon after, but not this kind of book. So come back for that review. Let me know what book you're reading right now, or what book you're in the middle of. And if you have a mid-book opinion, please leave it down below. I love to know what you're reading and what's your opinion in the middle of the book. And that way it's just fun. It's just fun to guess as we're getting to the end of the story.